Hello.
Welcome back to season 2 of Grow As We Go.
I'm excited. My name is Angie.
My name is Diana. And this is our season 2 back and better than ever.
It's been a minute since we've been on here.
Yeah.
It's been like about 2, almost 3 years. We started the project, our first season, with our other co-hosts back in 2020. And now we ended in 2021 around May. And now when you're listening to this, it's 2024.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed.
Yes, ma'am.
We got some upgrades up in here.
Yeah.
We got some what are these called? Little dynamic mics.
Yeah, we got dynamic mic. We got an audio interface going on. We have a whole setup with lights and everything.
Yeah. Before we were shooting on our little MacBook webcam, a little Amazon mic.
So cute. We were so cute.
And we really tried. I think this was a learning experience for sure. Mine and Diana's like background, we have like different backgrounds and they kind of meshed into this, like merging the two. Like let's really put some more technical
without
stuff.
us even realizing, actually, because initially we were supposed to do again with all 4 of us, like the first season.
Yeah,
but life happens and people get busy, and we were the one that stuck through, and we really wanted to make it happen again,
for sure.
And things aligned for us to make it happen. We went to where did we go to? Sayulita.
Yeah,
we did a whole excursion just for this.
Yeah, to film like some of our marketing materials over there, which is
been
exciting.
Such a long time of us planning this, guys.
Yeah, it's
like
been a
months.
A year. We started it last January 2023. You're watching this in
2024.
Or listening to this in 2024. A lot has changed since you guys have seen us or heard us in a while, and one of us doesn't really even live in a country anymore. So
one of us does not.
So it's like it was such a cool opportunity to be able to do this in person, because we were planning to do this like fully remote. I mean, in a better way.
Yeah, season 2 was supposed to be on the same type of like
same
manner.
kind of vibe in terms of as if it was a video call. Definitely not. We weren't going to record on our webcams, but same kind of vibe.
We weren't sure, but it just like we said, it all
ended up working out.
Yeah, together
at a good time too. I really, at least for me, I felt like it. When we had started in the beginning, I was like super excited. I mean, I'm still excited. I was excited the whole time, but I was super passionate in the beginning. And then life was just happening, and had distractions, or not even distractions, just other things kind of take precedence over this. And then this just came at the right time where I'm like, no, I think I feel ready to kind of go at this again. I don't know if it was the same for you.
It's funny because there's so many obstacles that came about this. I mean, we can say it's obstacles or it's just like setbacks.
We had location.
Location, yeah.
We had a set design setbacks as well.
Just a lot.
A lot of like rolling with the punches. But we did it though.
We are here recording for you guys. And we have a lot of topics in mind to, share. And also, the objective, for those who are first listening, the objective of this podcast is for us to, with our experiences, being able to inspire others. And it's not necessarily of us just like talking about our lives just because we want to like, just share it because we have amazing lives. But more so for just like for other people,
For sure. I think it's important to hear and share other people's experiences, because ultimately, I feel like we're all kind of going through the same thing. It just kind of looks slightly different sometimes. And I think that we both have very unique lives, as everybody does. But we've came from very similar places. Yeah. I mean, literally from the same city. The same place. And we ended up you're across the world, and we're both kind of chasing our own dreams. And I think that's something that we don't really get to hear often.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so possible for anyone.
We're just 2 people who decided to make a podcast about it, but I'm sure there's like 1,000 trillion million
that share the
billion,
same story for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Who aren't doing the podcast.
Yeah. So, or some people who are even thinking like, is this a possibility for me to do? And especially like young women, young girls from like from the places that we're from.
Yeah, it's like we're saying me too, like capital me, capital 2.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a broad range of topics that we're going to talk about this season, And they kind of all stem from like either interests of ourselves individually, like what we like, or and just general experiences, what we feel it's important to talk about. So, which is exciting. I feel like they're slightly different. They're different than the stuff that we talked about in our last season. So I feel like we've both evolved in a lot of different ways. Our interests have changed.
I feel like in different ways, but the root of them is all the same.
For sure.
You know? We also have a guest speaker coming.
Yes, super exciting.
Super exciting. Yeah. I don't know, I guess we don't tell you guys know who this person is like that. I'm dead. It's just our dear friend.
Yes, our dear friend. But she's so I can go on and on about this woman.
Yeah.
She's so knowledgeable. She's incredibly smart.
We're hyping you up to
incredibly she's such a happy, good ball of energy person.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of anybody better to have on this podcast to talk about the things that we're going to talk about with her. So I'm super excited to have her.
Yeah.
Have her join us and like joining on these conversations. And these are conversations I feel like that we're going to have that we just normally have, all three of us together. So now we're just miking it up and broadcasting it all. But
like, just FYI, I feel nervous. I don't know why. I just, cause I feel like I haven't had Instagram in so long. I feel like in months, almost a year.
Yeah.
And like just me having a platform, just like talking, it just makes me nervous because of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm more of a private person, but private like on steroids, I guess, because I just, when I post, when I have Instagram, I feel a certain pressure, and like, you know, you do that whole cycle of like, when you post, you check it directly after, and like you see who looked at it, and like the next like hours you're still looking at stories, and it's just distractions for me. You know, everybody knows this, you know, but people find use of it too. But I guess I didn't, and that's why I didn't see any value in it in my life. And that's why I love not having it, anything at all. I have Snapchat with my friends. I keep up with them every day.
That's how we keep up, because she lives across the world. So Snapchat is like how we keep up with all of our friends.
We have like vlogs, daily vlogs and stuff
literally
like that.
Daily.
Like that's what keeps me sane over there, like living so far away from California. It's just like seeing what my friends are doing every day and stuff, and me sharing that with them too, because it's different to, you know, you can't FaceTime them often, or like texting isn't the same. So I'm very grateful for Snapchat because of that.
Oh damn.
That's the only thing that I'm grateful for. Snapchat.
Only Snapchat.
Shout out Snapchat.
Yeah, you Instagram, TikTok. No, I'm kidding. But yeah.
Yeah, so it feels weird. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I feel a little nervous.
Yeah, how do you feel? Because like
I feel a little nervous.
You have a platform and you use it. So
I use it. I feel though this is so different than, you know, when you're posting on TikTok, on Instagram, you're curating. You have a lot of control over what you're curating, and you could edit it. You could you could tweak it. You could make it how you really want it. Whereas this, you're just speaking, and the point of this, we're trying not to have a lot of cuts in between. We're trying to just go.
Yeah.
Just to kind of have more of an organic conversation. So that makes me a little nervous, because one of the things that I reflected upon after first season is that how much amount of times I had trouble saying what I was thinking, and how much I would stutter. And I felt like because we all took turns editing the podcast, I really felt that I kind of fucked up the most on that end, and it really sat with me for honestly a good
I remember
while.
You sharing that with us.
Yeah, and it made me really insecure about my the way I spoke. And ever since the podcast, I really made it a point to myself that I wanted to speak more surely, and that's something that I actually wrote that down yesterday on my goals for next year.
Oh, really?
I'm still working on it. Yeah, that I want to speak more with more conviction, with more certainty, because I feel that I still often stutter with my thoughts. Like, I also do feel that my thoughts move a lot quicker in my mind than I'm able to get them out. But that's because I feel that if I make effort to slow myself down and to just
Does it take a long time for you to do that conscious effort to slow down?
I definitely have to remind myself. I don't think it's something that
like, is it draining to do that because it's not so natural?
A little bit
because you're like essentially focusing and concentrating on like
but it does allow me to I guess, but it does allow me to really be in the conversation a little bit deeper than I would if I'm just like going, you know. But I think I also was crippling myself with the pressure that I needed to oh, this doesn't sound so great, but like sound perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like I had this pressure, like I have these thoughts, blah 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 blah. Why can't I say them how I want to say them? Why don't they sound perfect? Why isn't what I'm doing perfect? And I guess that's like I just admit, like that's a whole little insecurity that I deal with is
you and like everybody else, like me too.
For sure.
Everyone, I think, and it's when you get into that, I think obstacle, it's like, do you choose to either, you know, make that conscious effort, but coming from a place of like, I feel like it's just being too hard on ourselves at the end of the day. Like, why do we want to be so perfect?
Yeah.
Because we're not perfect at all. Like, even our whole, like, we have one foot that's bigger than the other.
For sure.
Our anatomy is not perfect at all. Like, nothing about us is perfect.
Yeah. No, and I wouldn't, it's crazy because I would give you and anybody else that grace, you know, like, yo, like, why are you putting that pressure on yourself? Why aren't you, why are you crippling yourself that way? But for me, I'm like, why can't you do better though? You know, and I think we're just our own biggest critic, which we
How do you deal with that? Like you, Angie, how do you deal with that?
Ooh, I don't.
I just hit you with that.
That wow. How do I deal with my own pressures?
You're being your biggest critic. Like, how do you? I guess like the question is like, how do you give yourself that grace?
It's easier for me to give myself the grace when I know that I'm doing all that I can. But when I know that there's things that I could do and I could practice, I'm just not doing it, but I am aware of it. That's when I kind of like kick myself even more.
Because it's like in the back of your head the whole time.
Yeah, you're like, you know, you could be doing X, Y, and Z. You're just not doing it.
Yeah.
But I give myself more leeway when I'm like in the unknown of it. Like, oh, I just didn't know how to do better.
Yeah,
but now that I know, I will try. But it's the moments where I'm like, no, you knew what to do, but you just didn't properly prepare. You didn't properly this. You didn't blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So when I'm like, but that's not answering your question.
I mean, you're elaborating. So
I guess I'm still working on that.
I mean, I'm not, you don't have to give me the answer.
I mean, if anybody wants to talk about how.
Yes, please do.
I'm still learning with that.
I think it also kind of, because I'm trying to reflect on what has helped me in that situation. It's more of like not caring anymore. For me, that's what helped me, is just being like, okay, whatever. Like, I did what I could.
At the moment.
Or if in the moment I know something, I will do it. Once I know, I will do it. And I don't have a barrier to like, you know, of like, oh, what if someone else, so and so, or like, what if, I don't know if that's what you experience too, but that's what I experienced, and I don't know, I got to a point where I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm just gonna do it without caring.
Keep it pushing.
You know? And if I make a mistake, oh well, like, people make mistakes. I think me reminding myself that people make mistakes too, people go through this too. It's not that the end of the world. Like, I think that's helped me too.
So you feel like you have a good relationship with not focusing on how other people perceive you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
I feel like that's something I tap into in different moments, but sometimes like it's a little harder for me to tap into that. So I remind myself like, hey, it's okay. Like, you don't need to care about how people perceive you to show up.
But I think also that's what my sister and I were talking about. I think, I mean, I don't believe in this, but there's like some similarities in people that are this, like the astrology.
She want to talk about astrology now.
But like, because my sister is a Libra and you're a Libra.
Okay.
And she knows many Libras. All her friends are like Libras.
I love
that. And so what she told me was that Libras care a lot about image. And it's not to say it's a bad thing. It's just that you guys care about the aesthetic of things, or just things looking like in the kitchen, everything looking clean and good, organized, or even like how the way you look. Art,
you know?
Yeah.
Love is a beautiful thing. Right.
Exactly. So
really,
like, that's what I'm trying to mesh this into what you're saying, because it kind of makes sense in my head of that's why it's there's so much care in that of people's opinions too, because it kind of coincides in a way of the image in my mind, you know.
For sure.
Do you see me, Quentin?
No, I definitely do, for sure.
Yeah.
But I hold that expectation for myself, but for no one else.
Yeah.
I could really care less whether or not the person, you or anybody else, like does, and I don't hold the same pressures. I'm like, yo, if it doesn't come out how you look, you want it to look like, that's cool. That's okay. You know, that grace just does. It's harder for me to give that to myself. Just yeah. just maybe it's a Libra thing. Is what you're saying. She says she a Pisces. She don't deal with that.
Just like therapy session right now. We're gonna have a lot of therapy sessions actually.
For sure.
So I don't know why I'm not surprised.
One of the things that I guess going into, I'm also nervous about being vulnerable.
Of course.
Like
vulnerable.
Just like say how it is. Let's really say how it is.
Oh, let's
really put it out how, you know what, that's fucking scary. Because I mean, just saying anything that's a slightly personal to
it's crazy,
a bunch of
like,
people is wild.
Yeah, and like just saying it in my head is different than saying it out loud. Because like when I say it out loud, I'm like, ooh,
it's real.
I cringe because I'm like, oh, is that really how I like think? Like, feel? Huh? Like it's actually out of my system, and it just sounds so weird to me when I become vulnerable like that. You know what I mean? Because like when you're in your head, it's like easy to like have these stories, and then you don't have anybody to judge you, I guess. That's what it comes down to. And then like when you say it out loud,
you almost could dismiss it a little bit because it's not really,
you don't have that world. Like
it's not real yet. It's not tangible until you say it out loud.
And when you say it, it's like, like sure. Words or spells, like it's like
almost so, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And if you say it out loud, people are gonna be like, oh. So I guess it's like the judgment of people when you say it out loud. For me, is what irks me.
I do think that you're really good at being vulnerable, though.
Yeah,
at least my experience with you,
I would say so.
You're pretty like, I'm gonna lay it out, and that's how I felt in the moment. Even though I know X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that's how I felt, and that's how I feel.
I just do feel weird inside, but I don't portray it outside. Like I will continue talking, but inside I feel like, oh,
yeah, you push past the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is important.
Exactly,
it's needed.
Yeah,
you need to push past that. But yeah, law has changed since we've last been on the pod in your little ears. And I'm just excited to...
We hope that we sound a little bit better on your ears, actually.
We hope it's nice and crispy, like a little ASMR. Excited to be here. Excited to have you. And thanks for coming back. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being here. If you're coming back and listening, thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of things we're going
to. Are you closing it up right now? Actually,
yeah. I think I'm wrapping this up.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to wrap this up?
I mean, I was like on Doodle Land right now. I didn't know you were actually closing it up. All right, we're putting a bow on it just like that.
All right, so I'll see you guys next week on episode 2. Bye.